Hey everybody, Mills RX here from the Ravens Minute Clinic. Happy Labor Day, everyone. And as we reach the end of summer, we now transition into the fall, which means football is back. We are now officially in week one. And this week we are playing the New York Jets. Now, it's so great to be back, and it's so great to finally, have, real life football again. And we are entering into a very, very pivotal season, not only just for the team, but not only just for John Harbaugh, but of course for our quarterback, Lamar Jackson. He is trying to get paid. He's trying to get an extension that is worth his value, and we'll see how that plays out. But what I really want to focus on this game is like, how healthy are we going into week one? Now we've had a lot of movements onto the reserve pup list, onto the even the reserve non-football injury list, and also we've moved a lot of people to the IR. And but who is actually closest, or who may be available of all the people that we have injured right now? So I just want to walk you guys through. Um, all the injury transactions we've made, and who exactly is, and where exactly everybody is on the different lists, and who exactly is injured and who is closest to playing. So I'm just going to bring this up right here. So yep, here we go. I'm going to share the screen with you. So here it is. Here is my here's my week one injury preview for the Jets. Now I've broke this down into the different lists that we have. I have an IR section. I have a reserve non-football injury list section, and also I have a pup section too. And also at the end, I project what I believe the week one injury report will look like, who has a chance of playing, and who has pretty much already been ruled out, just from what I've been hearing and um, what's already been reported by multiple sources. So let's get into it. Now, we're right off the bat, we're going to go to the IR and the reserved non-football injury list, and the NFI list, as it's known as. Of course, as we see, we have David Ojabo. He was placed on there. He, still working his way back from the ruptured Achilles tendon. Now, the word with him is he could be back early November, late October. That is what I've been hearing. That's what everybody in Ravens flock has been hearing. So, and there's a good chance that he be back. So, but like as many have said, whatever we get from him is just going to be pretty much icing on the cake. I think he should take a medical redshirt year. He won't be ready for a he won't be ready to play like a full season. And how effective will he be if he were to come back early? So I just think he should just take the whole year off and be ready for 2023. Unfortunately, we lost Lance Beagle, a very good linebacker who was making a case to make this the 53 man roster. But unfortunately, he ruptured his Achilles tendon in camp, and he was ruled out for the season. So hopefully we can get him back, and he can make some noise in next year's training camp as he did this year. Because right now our linebacking depth is very, very thin. Also, we saw Slade Bolden. Now we released him, and he reverted back to our IR list because no one picked him up off of waivers. And then he put on Twitter that he was going to have surgery, but he didn't really go into details. It turns out that he has a sports hernia. Now, this is the same thing that Rashad Bateman had last year, and he's going to have surgery, and he will remain on our IR list until we either reach an injury settlement with him, and he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Same as Rashad. And unless we reach a injury settlement with him, we could bring him in. Never know, because Slade was he got some action, but wasn't really as productive, or didn't see that much volume of targets. So as others. So yeah, but I expect we may release him, and with the injury settlement. Now, a preseason favorite and a favorite of Engraven Vids, shout out to Engraven, is Shamar Bridges, a South Florida product, a South Florida product who a lot of people were excited about. Now, now he is back on our IR list as well. It's undisclosed, but he actually is. He actually too had a surgical procedure. Not much information was released about his surgical procedure, so that's why I've had the recovery timelines to be determined because we really don't know. Not much information was given. Now he played relatively well. Now a lot of people were thinking, could he crack the wide receiver depth? Especially with James Prochet still relatively injured with that soft tissue injury, that hamstring strain, which I believe is a grade two. He may have partially torn like one of the three muscles in his hamstring. That's what I believe. But yeah, Shamar is he underwent surgical procedure. It was success, but we don't know what his recovery. Now, there's been some talk that we could retain him, but we could also still release him with an injury settlement. So we'll just keep you monitor his situation and keep you posted on that. Also, we have the rookie tight end we got this year, Charlie Kolar. He too had a sports hernia. He had surgery, and we're expected to keep him. He is on the IR, and he has a 6 to 8 week recovery timeline, same as Slade. I think we expect to keep him. I don't think we're going to release him with the injury settlement, pretty much. So yeah, that's good. So yep, that's good. Dalen Hayes, he reverted back to the IR list, and because no one picked him up on waivers, he is injured, but it was undisclosed. Don't know what exactly he was. What exactly his injury was. So we'll just keep you posted on that too. Once we get more information, we will give you more. I'll give you more in a later video about Dalen Hayes. But yep, we have a pretty extensive people on the IR and reserved NIF list. I believe David Ojabo is on the NIF list. Someone fact check me on that, but I believe he is the one on the NIF list. Okay, moving on. We're going to move on to the reserve pup list. We only have two. Tyus Bowser. Now, he was getting some work in during the offseason and during training camp. He's recovering from that Achilles tendon rupture as well. He's working his way back. He's been doing pretty well, but he was no way he would be ready for week one. So they put him on the reserve pup list. He is going to miss the first 4 games. Now, he is eligible to be activated week 5, which would be good to have him back because, as I mentioned earlier, our linebacking core is pretty thin right now. So hopefully we can get him back healthy, but I don't want to rush him back. So week 5 is a good time for him to be activated. But I still think even Coach Harbaugh would want him to have a 2 week ramp up period. So maybe week 7, week 8 is a good time to have to bring Tyus Bowser back into the fold. Also, we have Gus Edwards. Now, as I mentioned all offseason, he has been a mystery. It's relatively vague. We kept getting reports about, oh, we're optimistic. We're optimistic that he'll be back. We are hopeful he'll be ready for week 1, but no one was giving any concrete evidence about how far along his ACL had come, or how the soft tissue around the knee joint was healing. No one gave him anything like that. Well, apparently it didn't go as far as the training staff or the medical staff had thought, because they placed him on the reserve pup list and he's going to miss the first 4 games. So his ACL is not where it needs to be, which is kind of funny because J.K. Dobbins had a worse injury. Said he messed up 2 ligaments and his lateral meniscus, and they're saying he could play week 1. But it just this is not an indictment against Gus Edwards, but it's just like he was like I don't know, his ACL and the soft tissue in his knee hadn't healed to where it was. So hopefully he can come back. He also can be activated week 5, but once again, I think they're going to have a ramp up period. So week 7, week 8 for both Tyus and probably Gus. So, yep, that was people on the reserve pup list. Now we're gonna go into what I believe the week one injury report is going to look like. Now we have a couple of people who are questionable. The questionable who could potentially play week one is, as I mentioned, J.K. Dobbins. Now, he tore his ACL. He had a very bad sprain on his LCL, and he also had a lot of damage to his lateral meniscus. Now, that's a meniscus on the outside of your knee. Now, the medial meniscus is that toward the inside of your knee, near closer toward the MCL. But the LCL is also the ligament on the outside of the knee, and also that's where the lateral meniscus is. So that's why his LCL and lateral meniscus was damaged as well as the ACL. Now he has put in work, and J.K. Dobbins has been looking good. Now there was a video released about him working on pass blocking drills when he was, going up and down the sled blocking. Now when he walked off, he had a noticeable limp. A lot of people now, if he went on Twitter and said, "Oh, it wasn't a limp. It wasn't a limp," or something like that. I beg to differ because, as I said, as your body starts to trust that knee, and as you mentally begin to trust that knee again, you tend to overcompensate. Now, it was on the leg opposite of where he tore multiple ligaments. Now, and which is par for the course because your body is going to start putting more weight and more torque on that opposite leg because because subconsciously, and also you believe, oh, my knee isn't 100%, so I can't put that much weight on it. I can't cut as hard. I can't do as many lateral movements as I like. I can't juke as I normally would because I'm work coming back from a multiple ligament injury and my meniscus is messed up. So what we saw was we probably saw the increased weight and the increased torque on that other leg. That probably he probably tweaked his hamstring. That's what I'm thinking because people who come in, running backs, especially running backs, coming back from multiple ligament injuries and a lot of skill position people like wide receivers, defensive backs, running backs, things of that nature, even quarterbacks too. They're coming back. They still put more weight on the opposite leg because it's going to overcompensate and put more and probably going to make up for that injury. But that also puts a lot of strain on the hamstring, on the calf, and on the quad on the opposite leg. So hopefully, hopefully JK can play. But even if he does, I expect a limited workload. The backfield is we just signed Kenyon Drake, who was released by the Raiders. So I expect our backfield to look something like Mike Davis, Kenyon Drake, maybe a little bit of JK sprinkled in. I'm gonna say maybe 5 to 10 touches, but I don't see anything past 15. Heck, past 12. I think we give him a chance to work his way back, but look for what I say, like I said, the three Ds, the three Ds. Like I said on Twitter, the three Ds. Look for Davis, Dobbins, and Drake. That's going to be the 3D backfield, but expect a little bit less of Dobbins, more of Drake, and more of Davis. Maybe Tyler Beatty. Heck, maybe a curveball. Maybe we see Justice Hill if we don't release him. So yeah, hopefully about that. The biggest question mark of the offseason, would Ronnie Stanley be healthy? And I'm here to give you an answer, a resounding no. I do not believe he's going to be ready. He's listed as questionable, but I don't think he'll be ready for week one. So I expect maybe Jawan James on the left and possibly even Daniel Falele on the right. Now he's questionable with a right knee injury. Apparently he tweaked his right knee. We saw during the that he went down holding his right knee. That's very scary. He was able to come back. He's been monitored. He's been getting PT on that right knee. From what I'm hearing from my sources and from reporter sources, he's doing okay. He has a chance to play. But yeah, we need to monitor that. But his right knee is doing relatively well. it could be Juwan James on the right, or or either I think Morgan Moses, who we got from the Jets. Maybe he can be on the right because he's played a lot on the right, or we may just even or we may put Daniel Falele on the right because he had a good camp minus the injury, but we may go with experience. So I expect James and Moses to be our two offensive tackles, looking after Lamar. Now, also, we have Jalen Armour Davis. Now he has been on the in concussion protocol for a while. He's cleared it, but they still say he has a head and neck injury, so he's questionable. It's questionable that he may play. Um, I don't expect him. Maybe we hold him out, but he could play, which would be good. But from the questionable list, like I said, it's a coin flip on both on Dobbins, Stanley, and Armour Davis at this point. But those who have already been ruled out is Kavon Seymour. We saw that gruesome injury in the last preseason game. I mean, what is it about us playing the Commanders the last game that we have major injuries? Last season, J.K. Dobbins got hurt playing the Commanders. This season, Kevon Seymour suffered a major injury. I mean, what is it playing the Commanders? It's crazy. But what we saw is Kevon Seymour rolled his ankle really badly under it. Now, initially, I thought it was a ankle fracture. Thankfully, it's not. It's a right high ankle sprain. So think Sam Darnold in recovery timeline, 4 to 6 weeks. He's been ruled out. We won't see him for a while, but he was not placed on PUP or on the reserve NFI list. So yeah, expect him to miss 4 to 6 weeks with that high ankle sprain, and hopefully we can get him back healthy. It appears to be stable, so which is why because it would have been more if it was unstable. Now, the someone who else was making noise, Travis Jones, the defensive tackle we got. Now, it looked like it was a bad injury that he had, and a lot of people were thinking, "Oh my God, oh my goodness, was that a knee sprain?" That's what I was immediately thinking. I said, "Oh my," I said, "Man, he wrecked." I said, "He wrecked his left knee, and he'll probably be out for the season." But fortuitously for the Ravens, he was only a hyperextended left knee. Now he does have an MCL sprain, grade one. Grade one, it was overstretched. It was overstretched or hyperextended. Now, let's say now it was on the medial. He was tackled on the medial or the inside part of the knee. So the MCL was overstretched. It said there were probably some small micro tears in it, but he's going to miss 3 to 5 weeks with the MCL injury. And but mainly it wasn't a knee sprain. It was he only hyperextended his knee. So that's good for the Ravens, and potentially we can get him back to help in the middle of our D line. Now, another asterisk would be Marcus Peters. Now, I have him as out because I don't expect him to play. He's not on the pup or anything. We activated him off the active PUP list, and he didn't revert to the reserve PUP list like Gus Edwards did. But I ex- I don't expect him to play week one against the Jets. Because even he himself has said he's not going to come back until he's really ready. Of course, he's coming back from the ACL injury that he suffered that same practice that Gus Edwards tore his ACL. So he's working his way back. We'll know more. There's not many updates about him. So yep, hopefully we can get him back at 100%. And so, yep, that's where we are right now at during this stage of injury. Now, way better than 2021. I'd say all of the changes that John Harbaugh and the training staff made to our off season program and our training camp really helped. It was a big focus on muscle regeneration, resting, more calisthenics, more stretching, and we finally went with the NFL with less padded practices because it was, I believe it was the Ravens, the Titans, and the 49ers who had the most padded practices last season, and which led to them being injured as much. So that's why we had less padded practices, and all of this, and a lot of this plays into when we hired Adrian Dixon, who was the head of sports medicine, who's head of sports rehabilitation, and also the head trainer for the Titans. He did wonders for Derrick Henry when he had that foot fracture, and he did wonders for all of the skill position players and everyone for the Titans. That's why they elevated him to director of sports rehabilitation, and having him as our head athletic trainer, he is a guru when it comes to muscle regeneration and also how long it takes for a person to rest and for the muscle fibers to rebuild more pliable, more flexible, and to have a different strength. So he's going to be an asset to us, and I'm so glad we have him. But yep, that's everything. We have a bit of a longer video this time, but yeah, I just want to give you guys a full view of where we are as a team health wise. So if you like, I'm going to probably do more content like this as it goes on, like every week, possibly. I say Saturdays when I can. I will do like injury previews like this for the upcoming week, and potentially we'll before the game, and also during the game, I'm going to try to live tweet if there is an injury or if there's just a big play. I'll try to tweet. Also, you can find me on. I'm going to be probably most likely on Engraven Vids stream, because he does a stream every game or when he can, and those are always so much fun, so much fire. So come check it out. It's really fun. A lot of the flock gets on it. So yeah, I'm going to be updating injuries there on his live stream, and also I'll try to do it on my Twitter, and I'll try to give uh, more YouTube contents like this because I haven't been doing much lately, but traveling a lot. So yeah, if you like this content, please let me know, and I'll do more of it like this. So yep, here's to a great season. Hopefully we can stay healthy and not as many injuries as last year. So yep, it's been great, and let's have a lot of fun. It's going to be a good year this year, guys. So thank you so much for watching, Flock. Once again, Mills RX. You can follow me at Game Medicine on Twitter. Also, Game Medicine YouTube channel. So check me out there. And also, yep, go Ravens, and let's have an excellent season.